Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my backstitch tutorial. I was originally going to wait to do this tutorial until I had gotten to a point on Luce Mia where I could show you backstitch, but I was working on this last night and I finished it and I got to this backstitch and I went, oh my God, I'm just gonna show them with this because there's plenty of backstitch for me to show you how I do it. And this pattern is so small that I didn't think it'd be a big deal showing it in this video. Okay, the backstitch is supposed to be in 3371. I think that's what I'm doing it as. There was only 3 colors in this pattern. So I have already threaded my needle with 1 strand, and when I go to do backstitch, I will anchor the thread. I will run it under other stitches to hold it. I just pull it till there's like a little tail, because once you do a couple back stitches, it will be anchored. So I am going to start right here. Now you see how, now here's what I do that may be different than other people. I will do long stitches. See these 3 stitches right here. Instead of doing each one of these individually, I'm going to do 1 long stitch and you're going to see. I always pull very gently on that first stitch because remember it's anchored. So I just count over 3 stitches and put my needle down. A minute. It pulled it out. Of course it did. Because I'm trying to do a tutorial. Alright, let me anchor it again. Raw footage, folks. You get everything. You get all my mistakes and everything. Okay, starting again. Pulling it gently. Please tell me I didn't pull it out. Nope, still in there. Count over 3 stitches. And see how it's nice and straight. And then for these 2, I would do the same thing. Instead of doing 2 separate stitches, I'm going to do 1 long stitch. And I will do this for any length of stitches. Like when I did Peony, the stitches on her legs, I did 3/4 of her leg, 1 long stitch. That's how it looks so neat. That was the question people had, was how does your back stitch look so neat? And I'm just going to keep going. I can do the same thing with these 2 stitches. And I take my time. I do this pretty slowly because I do want it to look neat. And yeah, you're gonna, and then these 3, I'm just following the line here. It's the stem on the pumpkin, or the tendrils on the pumpkin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. My eyes went cross-eyed for a second. But there will be a point on this stem. Okay, here comes a single stitch right here. Can't do, I mean, you have to sometimes do the single stitch. But then I can do, and I just pulled my thread out of my needle. But then I can do this as a long stitch. One single stitch is next. I just shook the camera. Another single stitch. Another single stitch. And then I can do the long stitches again for these two. And another thing with backstitch is once you do that first stitch, I always come up for the next one in a clean hole. Meaning, like, okay, if I'm gonna do this one right here, which is next, I will go up here instead of trying to go back down in that hole, because that's where I just was. The thread will pull right out. Okay, there's the first little tendril. Looks pretty neat, right? I am going to do these other two on camera. I will not speak so I can speed it up. I will double the speed, but I'll explain it before I do it. Like these 3 stitches, that's going to be one long stitch. This will be one long stitch. This will be a long stitch. There's a bunch in here that are going to be long stitches. If it's more than one stitch, you can do one long stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to complete the rest of this. Okay, and this project is now complete. I am going to do my scrapbook paper and artist canvas tutorial with this. I'm going to re-record it and show you guys all of the cutting, how I cut everything. That video is going to be so long. So I hope this helped. Another thing I wanted to mention about backstitch is that most of the time it is in one strand of thread. There are a few instances or companies that do 2 strands. One that comes to mind is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. They like to outline the eyes of their characters in 2 strands. And Mirabilia or Nora Corbett will also do that, because for the eyelash or the eye, sometimes that is also in 2 strands. Same technique. So I hope this helped. As always, guys, thank you for watching and subscribing and giving me these ideas for these tutorials. Now, someone had asked about a French knot tutorial. I've actually had a couple people ask. Unfortunately, I don't do French knots. I sub out beads. So I will not be doing that one. But I do have a couple other little ones in the works. If you have any other ideas, leave them in the comment section below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Again, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video.